All right, let's try this one more time, guys. How is everybody doing out here in Cyberland? Started this video a few moments ago, so I hope you guys can hear me now. Went through the entire video and my mic was not on. So we're going to try this here again. Hopefully we'll be uninterrupted. We were interrupted the last time. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Like, subscribe, share if you care. Please feel free to donate. You can donate at Recovery Warriors. That's RecoveryWarriorZTJ, or at Mentalcandy. Both of those are Cash App handles. You can also donate via PayPal. recoverywarriors@gmail.com, and warriors is with a Z on the end, not an S. RecoveryWarriorZ. That's how you spell Recovery Warriors. So tonight I'm going to be giving you a quick, brief, impromptu video on how I was able to get my own pardon and help assist 11 others around the state of Georgia get their pardons also. So as you can see, we're on the pardon page. This right here is the Georgia State Board of Pardon Parole. This is just some pretty generalized information. It's giving you the process. I think I need to go up here to eligibility and guidelines. It's down here also. So the application process for the partisan restoration of rights has changed. I was telling everybody 5 or 6 years ago, even 3 or 4 years ago. That's why I was having so many free Pathway to Pardon events, trying to get people to come out so that way I can assist them with their pardons free of charge, because I was already in the area and it wouldn't be taking up any of my time. Um, at this point now, I'm not able to be as flexible, so I'm still willing to assist, but of course I have to charge for my time. I'm not doing your pardon for you. Hear me clear on that. But I can help you gather all the information. Pretty much I can gather all the information minus the character letters and of course your criminal history. Make sure that your verbiage is correct, because it's going to be asking for you're going to have to do a writing session for your pardon. So let's just say it like that. And a lot of people aren't comfortable with their writing, and they're not able to articulate what they want to say in writing. So that's where I come in to assist. But again, I cannot do that for free. When I do have a free event, I'm more than happy to assist those people free of charge. But other than that, I must charge a small stipend. But here we go. It's located, the Pardon Paroles here in Georgia is located at Georgia State Board of Pardon Paroles, 2 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, Southeast, Floyd Veterans Memorial Building, balcony level, East Tower, Atlanta, Georgia, 30334-4909. If you guys see here, there are 2 different pardon applications. When I first started doing this and helping people out, there was only one. Now there are 2 pardon applications. The one is the general pardon application for restoration of rights. So the best way I can summarize it to seem offensive or come across offensive was to just say it like this. For any crime that you got, you can fill out the top, this application right here, this one that I got highlighted right there. But if you got a sex offender crime, you got to fill out the bottom application. And what we're going to do, we're going to go through each application. They're basically the same application. One is just titled sex offender, and there's different information on top of the application that the one who's a registered sex offender must turn in also. So to qualify for a pardon for offenses other than sex offenses, you must require to be listed on the Georgia Sex Offender Registry. So again, it's just 2 different pardons. So for a basic pardon, you must have completed all sentences at least 5 years prior to applying. Hear me on this. Homie, you can't have gotten your felony 10 years ago, and then 3 years ago you got caught with a little quarter sack of weed, and you was on probation. You just got out probation a year and a half ago. Nope. player, it says 5 years applying. I don't make the rules. I'm just reading them to you because I know a lot of people fail to do the due diligence, and I want people to get this accurate information. It's right here. It's free. It ain't like my computer has access to this and nobody else's does not. But a lot of people want you to help them, and when they ask you to help them, that means do it for them versus supporting them. I want to support you all so that way you'll be able to in turn support someone else. You must have lived a law-abiding life during the past 5 years prior to applying. So that means for 5 years you can't have been in no trouble, and you got to been living good. You got to been living righteously. You cannot have any pending charges. So again, you can't be on probation. Talking about, man, I want to get that felony off that I had got back in '98. Not gonna happen, buddy. You got to wait till you don't have any pending charges. You ain't on paper, and that 5 years apply. All your fines and restitution must be paid in full. That's for the regular pardon. For a sex offender, if you're a registered sex offender, all of the same applies except for, I'm going to read it verbatim. You must have completed all sentences for sex offenses requiring registration for at least 10 years. So that means you got to been good for 10 years, and you can't been in trouble for the past, 10 years before you apply. Within 90 days of the application for the pardon, the sex offender must have a psychosexual evaluation conducted. My friend is actually an approved sex offender treatment provider. There's a list of approved providers that you can click on. The costs are the responsibility of the applicant, which is the quote unquote sex offender themselves. Within 90 days of the application for the pardon, the person must also submit to a disclosure polygraph. That means they're going to take a lot of tests on you if you have a sex offender. Now I see why the sex offenders are kind of hesitant. I will say this, of the 11 people that I've assisted, none of them had this particular issue. However, I did have someone that has reached out to me that this is their particular situation. They're being really proactive about gathering all the information, and I'm confident they were going to move ahead and obtain their pardon. And so I'm hoping to hear back from them over the next few months that they went ahead, because it will be good to have this, uh, to have that as an example. Because again, like I said, all my other ones have been drug dealers, or manslaughter, or weapons charge, or fighting, or cutting somebody, or stealing, scam. Those have been the ones. All costs are responsibility of the applicant, again, for the polygraph test. You must provide a copy of your most recent risk level evaluation as assigned by the sex offender registry. So I'm assuming, I haven't looked this up, and I probably should look it up. I'm assuming, just reading that and working with some of the people that I work with who are on the sex offender registry list, I'm assuming that they get evaluated every so often, and what this is asking for is the most recent risk level. And the risk level evaluation is just monitoring what their level of being a repeat offender, as far as, I guess whatever that sexual offense was rape. And when I'm saying this, I must say this too, because I don't want anyone to hear this video and feel attacked. I'm gonna speak from both ends. There are instances where I've worked with people and know people personally where the girl might have been 16, the guy was 18, the girl got pregnant, the folks called the police, the guy got the charge, but in essence, they're still together. So it's a fine line. I'm not justifying, I'm not minimizing. I was violated. I've had some sexual trauma. So I'm empathetic, overstanding. I'm all of the above. But I just want to say that, because every case when we see sex offender, it's not always the most gruesome, the most gruesome outcome that we can expect. So I did want to put that up there, because I don't want anybody to feel like it's an attack. I'm just giving out information. You can't have any pending charge, and all fines and restitution must be paid in full. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the actual. Let me scroll back down a little bit. I'm going to go to the actual application. Go through the application really quick. Do a quick rundown, so that way you'll see what it entails, and that way you'll be able to, should you have any additional questions. Does that make sense? Emma? All right. So here's the application again. In the top, it has the address, Then right here, application for pardon. When it says I am applying for, I always tell people to check those three. Tell them to check to try to get their civil rights and political rights. What a lot of people don't know. Even if you're a felon and you don't try to get into a pardon, eventually you'll be able to vote anyway. So you don't have to do that if that's all that you want. But it also allows you to become a notary, X, Y, and Z. Also, pardon is the second one. Of course, that's why you're filling out. You want your pardon, restoration of right. The third one is for the restoration of rights to receive, possess, or transport in commerce of a firearm. Now, this one, hear me on this right here. Be clear. It's a case by case. Just think logically. If you were somebody that maybe had a violent crime and you shot 2 or 3 people, or you was robbing and you're robbing facing your phase in your youth, or you was in a stabbing phase in your youth, then I'm just saying from a logical point of view, even though I know we've changed, um, just be mindful of that. Again, it's a case by case, but I do have 3 people that have actually gotten their gun rights restored, so I know for a fact it works. You just want to do things in order. So it's asking that information. It's going to ask you to print your name, message on court document, male, female, your date of birth, phone number, um, SID number, FBI number, inmate number, which is your EF number or your GDC number. It depends on if you're young or old. Old school EF number, now it's the GDC number. So whatever that number is, if you remember that, put it down. Your demographic, where you live, you're married, divorced, any children, how old are they? Do they live with you? Are they not in the household? What's your education? Oh, let me go back up. Let me go back up. Let me go back up. It's going to ask you your education, high school, if you've done any college. What I always tell people to include is, even if you went and got a CNA certification, even if you went and took a Microsoft class, even if you went and took a culinary arts class, even if you went and took a holistic medicine class, even if you went and took a how to gardening class, whatever that you've done in that 5 year for the regular partner, or that 10 year if you're a sex offender, please include that, so that way they can see that you've been proactive. I must tell you this story. I had one person that I assisted that had just, they were getting like minimum wage jobs. So they were, for like 2 years, going twice a week selling plasma, and that was the only way they were able to sustain. And during that duration, some of the times they were out of work. So I had them go to the plasma center, get their printouts for every time they visited the plasma center, send that in with their application. They actually got their pardon. So I'm just telling you to be proactive, to use, whatever you were doing that was proactive and productive during that time frame, included in this application. For people who are in the military like myself, just include the information. It's going to ask if yes, please include a copy of your DD-214. I'm saying the reason why they probably want the copy of the DD-214, because if you had a dishonorable discharge is like getting a felony or Article 15. It's like the negative connotation to it. So in my head, I'm thinking that's why they are ask for that information. So if you're military like myself, have a copy of a DD-214 handy. Send that in with it. Also, it's going to ask you about employment. If you receive, it says you may attach the pay stub or current W-2 to verify your current or present employer. I'm going to say this right here, or proof of your disability or SSI. I've never had anybody send it in, maybe 2 people, but everything else that they sent in. But if they're asking for this, send it in. Send it in. Send it in. Indeed, send it in. What's next? What's next? This has a lot of information about your previous employment. Still asking about employment. Then it's going to ask about substance abuse and mental health history. This is why I was telling everybody 4 and 5 years ago to go ahead and get this application, because they changed the application and revised it in August of 2018. Whereas it used to be 2 pages long, now this application is 15 pages long. And this right here is the loophole. And when I say loophole, I mean, for me, this is the reason why a lot of melanated people, to me, and I could be speaking from a place of just because I'm a melanated person, but I think this is one of the things, not only melanated people, let me take that back, but it's gonna hinder a lot of people because of the verbiage, the wording. You don't want to lie. So just be clear and use logic when answering these questions. I can't tell you what to say. Use logic. I'm definitely not going to tell you to tell a non-truth, but use your logic when you're answering these questions. Going to ask you, have you ever consulted a mental health professional? If you're looking at this video and you've seen any of my other videos, then yes, you have consulted a mental health professional. I am a mental health professional. Um, Anything mental health, behavioral health, reentry, all of this is under the umbrella of behavioral health, because persons who've been incarcerated and paroled out and trying to get a pardon have more than likely had some trauma in their lives. Um, it's going to ask you about civil and financial information. A lot of people tense up on this, asking you about bankruptcy, discharge. Another part I should have said at the very top when asked about your spouse. I can't tell you what to put, but why would you lie when you're trying to get your pardon? That, to me, that let me know you still with the same shenanigans. I had somebody who, wanted me to help them, and when I saw it, what they were doing, I stepped all the way back, because you living with your spouse, but you putting down that they left 3 or 4 years ago. That don't add up for me. So again, I can't tell you what to put, but I definitely don't want to put myself in a position where I think that I'm helping someone who's being genuine, but they're not even being forthcoming on such sensitive and pertinent information as this. So, have you ever been involved in a lawsuit? And that scares a lot of people. Charitable and community activities. Everybody who I've helped have wanted me. Well, can you recover wars? But ain't none of them winning help with recover wars, but about one. But what I did do is I'm now an authorized community service provider, so that way people can come in and help when I'm doing events, can come in and speak, so that way it's legitimate. I really can use you as being, write a letter, a character letter for you, saying that you have done charitable events. So again, that was that. The next part of the application is the applicant's version of the offense. A lot of people are not good or articulate or well spoken when it comes to writing. So this is where a lot of people freeze up. And when this part of the application comes, I always encourage people to not go in and say, well, I ain't know my homeboy had a stolen car and I just got in the car. No, just say, I was young, I was a knucklehead, at the age of 16 or 17 or whatever, got in the car. My homeboy had this convertible Mustang. Lo and behold, cops pulled us over and the car was stolen. Young and dumb, because I, even though I didn't know the car was stolen, I'm responsible for getting to a car when I know that he didn't have the money to buy. You have to hold yourself accountable. So pretty much they're just trying to see, are you willing to hold yourself accountable? Or are you still the type that's going to push it off on, say it's somebody else's fault? So that's what that's entailing. Scroll down to this part. Justification for pardon consideration. Why should they give a pardon? Why do you want a pardon? What are some of your barriers? For me, when I wrote in for my pardon, I gave probably like a 5-page letter saying how detrimental it was. I've served in the military, and now I'm not able to provide a better quality of life for my children. Nothing working wrong with a minimum wage job. However, I've been able to live life, and I want the opportunity. And if I'm given the opportunity to be granted a pardon, I will use, my own life's experiences to be able to help and assist others. Blah 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 blah. Get it? And you scroll down a bit more. Certification of personal oath. You're gonna have to get this notarized. That should cost just maybe about $5 to get it notarized. $5 to get it notarized, maybe about $15 to $20 for a copy of your criminal record, the disposition, and then what, 50 cents for the postage. So that's all it's going to cost you to, in essence, get your own pardon. Now, what I'm going to do is going to go back, and we are going to go to the sex offender pardon, because I want to give you verbatim. I want you to see it for yourselves. That way, it's no misunderstanding. Here we have the application for pardon rests the right for those currently on the Georgia Sex Offender Registry. Gonna scroll down because it's exactly the same thing. The applications are exactly the same except for it's named differently at the top. Gonna scroll down so you can see for yourself. It ain't asking nothing about. It's exactly the same. You see? Exactly the same. Exactly the same. Only thing it's gonna ask different. It's not asking anything. The only thing you have to do different is provide the psychosexual evaluation, the risk level evaluation, the most recent risk level evaluation, and those have to be done within 90 days of submitting the pardon application. And also, you're going to have to get a polygraph test if you are a registered sex offender. This is again some of the information. Let me make sure that I put it inside of the video. If not, I'll have to come back through and put it inside the video. But I hope this information was helpful to you guys. Please share. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to get better with these videos, but I definitely want to be proactive and always provide information that you can really use. I have this saying, free game you can really use. Pardon assistance. You guys stay lifted. Have a great day. Again, I hope this information was beneficial to you. Pay it forward, share it with someone else. And again, stay lifted. Have a great day. And love and light.